kama mtu alimuua bila sisi kuchua nani alimuua, tukishika na tochi tunaweka dawa yetu ya zamani inaitwa njano. Hiyo njano itatafuta yule aliua, tunasema mara 7. Wenyewe wataanza kukufa, alafu kesho yake wenyewe watakuja kusema tuliua mtu wenyu bila kuchua.
Na sio tu tochi peke yake, tutachukua pia mishale ya mnyama anayeitwa porcupine 4 kwa kulia tunaita isekesi. Hiyo mishale ni sharp kabisa, tutaweka katika kona 4 za kaburi yake, na maana yake ni kwamba isizuie mtu ambaye alihusika kwa hiyo maneno.
So guys, Cyrus Jirongo has just been buried, and that can yongele some of the things that I noticed regarding the death of Jirongo. So first of all, kumekuwa na divided conversations around the death, and nikiuliza, I'll say that I never expected anything different, especially when a senior person dies. I normally hear discrepancies when investigations surrounding the deaths of senior individuals, and this one was never a new stuff. I totally expected such conversations because Kenyans always have opinions. Personally, after watching the CCTV video, hiyo yenye the Mercedes Benz inachotwa na basi, I believe that Jirongo died out of an ordinary accident. This is just like any other accident, and the impact was so deadly that it had to push the car a few meters away from the collision point. So basically, there was no way someone could have come out alive, especially from the smaller car. So kila mtu aliona vile hiyo basi ilikuwa inasonga na speed, and of course the driver gave his side of the story, na nikaona ametandikwa pale kwa mtandao. Kuna watu wanasema that the story yake was never making any sense, and also the fact that nobody came out to speak about being a passenger in the bus pia raises eyebrows, but personally I think it's just an accident like any other. But that's not the reason as to why I'm reacting to this video. So my concern comes in hapo kwa kuzikwa na torch. I don't understand that lawyers have so many traditional stuffs, but najua hii story ya kuzikwa na torch, I think imepata watu wengi off guard. Actually, growing up, I used to hear such stories a lot. You know, those days mkipiga stories and you end up talking about a community's background, you find yourself discussing such stories, na zilikuwa za kushtua sana. We ended up dismissing them, saying that hizo ni jaba, but now when Jirongo's death comes, it makes me take keen interest into some of these stories that happens or are heard in the communities. So if you're not understanding what I'm actually saying, let me try to paint this picture of how I understand this story at Torch. So basically, some people believe that Jirongo was murdered, and in communities like Luya's, kama the death of the person cannot be determined or reports of the cause of death is not trusted, then the dead is said to be buried in a torch, so that when it goes off, like the battery kiisha, then something similar might happen to those believed to have actually caused the death. So I hope nilikuwa nimeielewa vizuri. So kama sijaelewa vizuri, I think lawyers in the house mnaweza tuambia hapo kama nimechocha. But personally in my community, I have never had such a thing, but I do agree that kuna some processes that we must follow when burying our people. Like what I know is that the deceased must always sleep in the house, and they must spend the night kwa compound, especially when now tuseme for example anafaa kuzikwa kesho, so he has to sleep in the compound today unless yeye ni Muislamu. So maybe labda mnaweza tuambia, what do you think about such practices? Should they continue, or like some of them don't make sense to me at all. So talking of this story ya Jirongo, I think vile tu nimesema hapo juu, Jirongo must have died out of an ordinary accident. And this is the time when I normally say that people should always be careful when driving, especially during the festive seasons. And investigations have been done, and I hope that when the results come, it will prove. And I heard even the DCI boss akisema that they had already completed the extreme phases of the investigations, and they can pinpoint that it is an ordinary accident. So basically, wase wakiongea pale online, which I totally expected, it basically means that Kenyans normally have opinions, and labda nyi mnaweza tuambia mimi, what do you think? Mi nadhani tu it's a normal accident like any other. And hiyo story ya torch and communities having this practice and this practice, actually nilikuwa nimeona kuna mzee fulani, he was almost beaten because alikam na zingine za ovyo that he will not accept Jirongo azikwe na torch. Na nilikuwa nimecheck hiyo video like those who were around walikuwa wamejangori sana na hiyo story. And I hope, sijui, but anyway, I just felt like reacting to this video so that we get to understand what is actually happening in these communities. Because hapo kitambo pia nakumbuka there was a story of this Kisii woman who had refused to go bury her ex-boyfriend, and ilileta chaos sana until alienda akachukuliwa and he was caned thoroughly. Was it last year or last year but one? Somewhere thereabout. So it also sparked conversations online on what to practice and what not to practice. And it also raises concern over these communities that still practice the extreme practices, such that if you don't follow a particular practice, then you will face the consequences. So I don't know how to react to this video, but I'm sure it's a topic worth discussing, and labda mnaweza tuambia hapo kwa comment section like what do you think. So basically, just subscribe to this channel, hit that notification bell, and yeah, tuingie hapo comment section tusikie hizo vitu zote, like you community yako, like what do you normally do, especially when dealing with these cases za death.